Muses of Mythology is a spoiler-heavy podcast.
That's an understatement.
We're going to discuss not just the events of this book, but the Riordanverse as a whole, and really anything that we feel is relevant. You can find full spoiler warnings in the show notes. So the rules for the ritual actually called for a select few to say sober. Sober?
Sober?
Sober. Sober.
Okay.
I said sober.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Muses of Mythology, a podcast where we explore how ancient myths become part of modern pop culture through the lens of Riordan's The King Chronicles. This is story 120, Hathor and Sekhmet. I'm your co-host and podcasting muse, Darien and Smartt. Joining me is my co-host and brother, DJ.
How's everybody doing today? I'm DJ the Muse, and I got nothing new on gaming.
Nothing new on game. DJ, we're having a streak.
I've just been playing SMITE.
I've heard you
It's
playing
not been
SMITE.
good.
Will we be talking about SMITE in this episode?
No.
Oh, whoa, spoilers for the...
I mean, I could talk about Hathor since he's another lion god that doesn't show up in the books.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Maybe we'll circle back.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's called listener retention.
Yeah.
All right, let's muse around the garden for a minute. Hey, DJ.
What's up?
Okay, it's not just Rick Riordan's fault. Maybe it is. I haven't encountered Hathor in a lot of things, but it does mayhaps feel like the big thing is just she's the lion lady that turns into the cow and sleeps. And
I thought that was Sekhmet.
Hathor is the cow. Sekhmet is the lion lady who turns into the cow and sleeps. And I'm going to tell you, DJ, when I made, because I write down all of the Google Docs, I make all my Google Docs for all the episodes, and then I do my notes in them. And when I made this Google Doc, I labeled it Sekhmet/Hathor.
Yep.
And then I did the research. And you'll notice, dear listeners, that I introduced it as Hathor and Sekhmet. There is a reason.
That
those
was a
two
Dr.
got
Jekyll,
switched.
Mr. Hyde situation.
There's a reason those two thoughts
Dr. Jekyll's
got
the actual
switched.
man, but Mr. Hyde's the alter ego that came about because of some bullshit.
Well, we'll get into that. But before we do the lore, before we do the mythology, we got to do the King Chronicles lore. DJ, what do you remember about these figures from the books?
Sekhmet was summoned, chased after the Cain siblings, and they fed her wine and made her sleep. No, hot sauce.
Hot salsa.
Salsa, yeah.
Yep.
Made her sleep.
Yep. That's it. It's a couple specific details that I do like. It's the idea that the chief lector has the ability to summon the goddess Sekhmet once in their lifetime, which is pretty rad and has some like mythological foundation that I'll get into later. But Desjardins burns this to send the goddess after Sadie and Carter.
Crazy.
Yeah. Carter talks about how in the past, Ra sent Sekhmet as
I guess, you know what? In hindsight, he doesn't live very long.
You know what? True. True.
When else was he going to get it? I don't know.
He is gone by the end of the next book. So yeah, he does, you know what? Use it at a totally reasonable time compared to the rest of his lifespan.
Yeah.
Compared to the total amount of time he's chief lector, yeah. Carter and Zia talk about in the ancient times, Ra sent Sekhmet, Sekhmet is in the King Chronicles the Eye of Ra. Like we talk about, there's a lot of goddesses who are identified as this figure.
Mm-hmm.
In the King Chronicles, Rick Riordan chooses Sekhmet and then Bast as this figure specifically.
Yeah.
So Ra sends Sekhmet to punish humanity for failing to uphold Ma'at, but when the goddess goes overboard, slaughtering everyone, Ra and the other gods got together and mixed wine with pomegranate juice.
Wow.
And then the rampaging goddess mistook this for blood, drank it all, got hammered, and passed out. At this point, Ra transforms her into Hathor, the bovine goddess of love and beauty. And after this, Bast is promoted to being the Eye of Ra.
Oh, so Sekhmet's just not anywhere anymore.
No.
It's just Hathor now.
Yes. Well, except it's a duality because when Desjardins summons her, she is Sekhmet, the lioness goddess.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. And like in actual Egyptian mythology, it doesn't sound like Sekhmet's around. It sounds like it's just Hathor, though.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
But I appreciate where your head's at. So the Canes pull it too, but with salsa. And instead they it's kind of crazy because I think they say, oh, it's so spicy. Wouldn't you like to have some milk? And then get her to transform into the cow. And then the cow just falls asleep and then gets recalled into the Duats.
Weird.
So
Can't Do Alcohol is a kid's book.
there is that. I will admit, salsa's funnier. Yeah, like
Salsa's
salsa's
fine.
fun. But yeah. You know what? No. The mead in Magnus Chase.
It's Magnus Chase. That's a different situation.
It is. You would Magnus Chase is definitely.
I'm sorry. You like everybody who knows Vikings meat, right?
That's true. If you ask me, like, what did the Egyptians drink? Like, before we talked about all this, I'd be like, probably a beer? Because a lot of ancient
I'll be with you. I don't know. Fucking weird
Wine.
tequila. I don't know. Maybe
A
they
weird
have. I don't know.
Desert tequila. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like maybe they have agave plants over there. I don't know what the fucking flora looks like over in Egypt.
Gin and tonics. Gin and tonics everywhere.
I don't know what the Middle Eastern or just like that area, the Arabian world, the Mediterranean. It's just wine to me. Okay, that's all it is.
It is wine. The answer is it sounds like they just drank wine. And other things, but wine mostly. I always thought it was beer. Like they got her drunk. It's like beer dyed red. Hold on, that may actually be true. I'll circle back to that. Okay, so let's just talk. So my notes are still ordered this way. So Sekhmet is the first. Her name means powerful or the female one. Not to be confused with Ktarwet, who is the great female one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how those could be so different, but here we are. We moved past it. Now
It sounds like Met's just the female one.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Or Et, the last name, or the
Et, yeah.
Et, what the fuck is the term for that?
Suffix?
Suffix, yes. The
Yeah.
suffix Et seems to just be female.
All right, yeah. Sekhmet.
Bastet.
Bastet, yeah. I think. Interesting. Okay, that's a good analysis, DJ. Maybe. Yeah, that's a good theory. So iconography, obviously this is our lioness goddess, often presented as semi-anthropomorphically woman with the head of a lion, lioness, often adorned with the sun disk crown or in a red dress.
Mm-hmm.
One of her epitaphs, Mistress of the Red Linen, is believed to be a reference to her warlike aspects. Being a daughter of Ra, Sekhmet is one of the most prominent Eye of Ra figures. She's a warrior, fire-breathing lion goddess. Hot desert winds were called the breath of Sekhmet, and many pharaohs adopted Sekhmet as a military patron deity. She was also associated with disease, and plagues were referred to as being the messengers or slaughterers of Sekhmet.
Crazy.
And for this reason, she was also called upon to ward off illness, being the mistress of life in her role as a healing deity.
Nice.
The idea of her as being like this military patron deity of the pharaohs, that's what I was like, oh, that's probably where Riordan got the idea of the chief lector being able to summon her specifically. And I thought that was cool.
That's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. She was also seen to, as many goddesses do, having a maternal relationship to the pharaoh, as the pyramid texts state the goddess, quote, conceived the king.
Mm-hmm.
Sekhmet features on a number of surviving statues and amulets, demonstrating her importance to the people of ancient Egypt. Because you don't make statues of figures you don't care about. And if this many have survived, imagine how many more didn't. Just the numbers, right?
Sand.
Richard H. Wilkinson, author of The Gods and Goddesses of Ancient Egypt, state that Egyptians would gift each other amulets on Sekhmet on New Year's Day to pacify the goddess for the coming year. And DJ, I would like to, for New Year's, to give you this. No, wouldn't that be fucking great? If I also like, and
That'd
for
be crazy.
a late New Year's present, I got you an amulet of Sekhmet.
Crazy. Insane.
And that is all I have for Sekhmet.
Okay.
Fun stuff.
Great.
Good stuff. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get... Oh, I closed that. I was showing
Whoops.
DJ. I was doing a cool visual aid that is just for DJ, not for the listeners.
You
And
have
I
to see
lost
how
my
many notes are on Hathor now.
Yeah, and so that was Sekhmet. And now we're going to... We're going to do Hathor now.
Oh, I can see the little thing on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah! So...
For just a little bit of they turn into a cow, fall asleep, and go back to the do-lot.
Yeah. So... Oh, sorry.
He had a story he wanted to tell.
He had a story he wanted to tell. He had a lot of stories that he wanted to tell.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in Richard H. Wilkinson's The Gods and Goddesses of Ancient Egypt, which, as I've said many times, is my primary resource for this season, Hathor's entry spans over 5 pages. It is one of the longest entries of any deity we've covered this season.
That's crazy.
And it's the only one that we've covered so far that opens with a hymn. Lady of fragrance, sovereign, revered one, the The two lands are under your sway. From A Hymn to Hathor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just, like I said, I was surprised because, long entry, and also of all of the ones I've done so far, they haven't opened with a hymn. They just start right into some facts. So, when I say Hathor, what do you picture?
I guess a cow. I
ask because it's the same thing I picture. I picture a cow probably with, like, the sun disk, right?
But with how many, at this point, I'm thinking, it's like, what, did they create, like, humans or some shit? Like, why are they so goddamn important?
You'll see. So that's the image, again, I picture. But throughout ancient Egypt, Hathor was most frequently depicted as being fully anthropomorphic, as a woman in a long wig and often wearing a red or a turquoise dress. Sometimes she has a vulture cap or the sun disk between the long, curving cow horns. In this time, the imagery would become identical to that of Isis, so it would be only through the image descriptions that whatever the goddess's identity could actually be recognized. Now, this isn't to say that she was never depicted as being fully bovine. Like, Hathor was venerated in her cow form in Luxor, where archaeologists have found many artifacts featuring pharaohs, including Hatshepsut and Thutmose III, with the cow goddess, like either drinking from her udders or standing before her with Hathor's clear protection.
Mm-hmm.
She was a very important goddess.
Yes.
I've broken down these sections into, like, sort of umbrellas.
Okay.
So, first I want to talk about her connection to Ra. Hathor, like Sekhmet, was an Eye of Ra figure, so she was either his daughter or his consort. Depends on what period of the 5,000 years of Egyptian history we're standing in. She joined the solar deity on his daily journey across the sky and appears in the pyramid text as playing a direct part in Ra's rebirth at each dawn.
Right on.
Another important deity she was connected to was Horus. Now, she was either his mother or wife, once again, depending on the context. Hathor's name is written with a hieroglyph of a falcon within a walled building, which literally translates to House of Horus. So that's what her name means.
Love to see it.
Unsurprisingly, with these two connections, she's also a sky goddess. Her name may reference the sky itself, because that's where a falcon in flight lives. A line of the pyramid text describes the deceased pharaoh's ascent into the heavens, stating, "My kilt which is on me is Hathor, my plume is a falcon's plume, and I will ascend to the sky." Meaning she is perhaps the House of Horus, meaning literally she is the sky, not to be confused with Nut. No.
Yeah.
Yes, Nut. Geb is the earth. Just kind of this different idea of the sky. And with this relationship to Horus as potentially a mother figure, she's also identified as being the mother of kings. Kings of Egypt could be referred to as the son of Hathor. It may be a reflection of Hathor as Horus's mother, which would in turn reflect the pharaoh's own connection to Horus. Though, as I mentioned earlier, in her cow form, the goddess could be depicted as physically nursing the pharaoh, playing into this image of both protector and royal nurse of the ruler of Egypt. Hathor is also a goddess who's deeply connected to the experiences of women, motherhood, and female sexuality. She was called the Mistress of the Vagina and was said to assist women with conception, childbirth, and motherhood. So, and I appreciate a goddess who's willing to be there for the whole thing. She doesn't just tap out after the fun part. She doesn't just tap out after the kid shows up. She's there for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, I love Artemis, but she's only there to be a midwife. Once the kid's out, she's done. Additionally, Hathor was referred to as Beautiful One and linked to love and sexuality, which is probably why the Greeks associated her with Aphrodite.
Wonderful.
This is a fun bit. She's a patron. I labeled this next little paragraph, Distant Lands, because Hathor was a patron of foreign lands as she oversaw trade and the acquisition of minerals in the desert. She's the patron and protector of remote mining regions, where she was worshipped as Mistress of Turquoise, which is why you would see her often depicted wearing a turquoise dress. She's also the goddess of life's pleasures, right? Like, these have been a lot of like heavy, meaty, serious ideas, but she's also associated with song and drink and festivity, like joy, music, happiness, the things that make life good.
There's a lot.
Oh,
There's a lot going on here.
there is. And, you know, she wouldn't be an Egyptian goddess without an afterlife responsibility. As, quote, mistress of the West. And I have a parenthesis here. Have we talked about how the ancient Egyptians associated with the West with like death and the afterlife because the sun sets in the West?
I figured, yeah.
Okay. But I don't think I mean, you figured because you're a smart guy.
Well, we've never.
Well, I don't think I've said it on the podcast. The land of the West. That's where the dead go.
That's where the sun goes to die.
Yes, the sun goes to die. You bury people to the west of the Nile. So, Mistress of the West, she welcomed royalty and commoners alike into the afterlife, greeting them with food and purified water. As she greeted the dying sun each night, quote,
hard to come by in the desert.
Exactly. It's a big fucking deal to be greeted with food and purified water.
Mm-hmm.
As she greeted the dying sun each night, quote, so it was the desire of the deceased to be in the following of Hathor. She was a very important goddess.
Yeah.
And you may be thinking, hey, this all kind of sounds familiar. This all sounds like Isis. Because, yeah, most of her attributes and functions would be subsumed by Isis by the Ptolemaic era, which is probably why the casual Egyptian mythology kid is only really going to know Hathor from the myth of Sekhmet's wrath.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's talk about that. We get this story from a funerary text called Book of the Heavenly Cow. And now, this earliest known copy of the book was discovered in the outermost gilded shrine of Tutankhamun, though the ancient text is incomplete. However, we have found 3 completed versions of the texts on the walls of Seti I, Ramses II, and Ramses III. So, this story is pretty important. This text covers a lot of stuff. For the purpose of this episode, we're going to just kind of focus in on the element that tells of the end of Ra's long reign. Some of the humans have stopped worshiping the solar deity, and to add insult to injury, began to plot against him.
Bastards.
I know. So, Ra consults the other gods, and they decide to send Hathor to deal with the problem. Enraged by the disrespect, Hathor transforms into Sekhmet, killing the rebels and introducing death into the world. Very specifically, this might be a version of the Egyptian idea of why people die at all. Because scholars have interpreted some elements of the text to suggest that before this, people didn't die. Now, Sekhmet didn't stop at the rebels, but
there's an awful lot of those myths where it's like, yeah, we didn't die until we pissed off the gods.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring
really
motif throughout humanity. Now, Sekhmet didn't stop at the rebels. She was so swept up in her bloodlust that she went on a rampage across the world, nearly ending all of humanity.
Ah.
So Ra called another follow-up meeting of the gods and was like, hey, we fucked up. And so they created a lake of beer, mixing in red ochre, giving it the color of blood.
They did have like grain back then. I bet
yeah,
they made
of course
a nice
they had beer. Yeah, I bet they had a solid beer. I bet you could have an Egyptian beer. Obviously, you could have Egyptian beer. You understand what I mean, right? I bet there are scholars and archaeologists that have been able to, as closely as possible,
find a recipe.
Yep. Although I imagine the grain isn't the same. It's been thousands of years.
Yeah, probably not.
So it wouldn't be quite the same, but that's kind of
close enough.
Yeah. All right. So Sekhmet comes along, sees this lake of red liquid, obviously thinks it's blood, drinks all of it, and becomes finally satisfied. At this point, she transforms back into Hathor and returns peacefully to Ra. And after this incident, Ra ascends into the sky on the back of the heavenly cow, who is not Hathor here, she is Nut. Osiris then becomes pharaoh. So, German Egyptologist Erich Hongrung argues that the rebellion of humanity and the separation from the creator deity is a sort of fall, which introduces death and suffering to the world. Like you said earlier, it's the idea that why does death happen? Why does suffering happen?
Well, we made the gods mad.
We made the gods mad. We've been separated from the gods, and now the world is imperfect. Yep. the text itself, like the Book of the Heavenly Cow, is probably a text that's meant to ensure the kings will ascend into the heavens, just like Ra did. While the earliest text of this story dates towards the end of the 18th century, because, that's the text that we discovered, it almost certainly predates the reign of Tutankhamun. Like, they didn't just make it up, so it was probably around way before that. The things I picked up from that story, Hathor turns into Sekhmet, not the other way around.
Yep.
She does it by her own choice. Ra doesn't force her to change shape to suit him.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's pretty. Those are kind of big.
Openly drinks blood.
Yeah, but she was like
eating people and drinking blood are different. I'd say. I eat cows. I don't drink cow blood.
Okay.
I eat chicken. I don't drink chicken blood.
Okay, no, for sure.
Okay,
you're right. Like,
killing people and drinking blood are different, Darien. The fact that you were trying to stop me there.
I was just, you're wrong. Well, it's like okay. In the context of if you are, she's
in a blind rage.
Yes,
but she's drinking blood.
She didn't just stop. Like it was wild because it's like not just it does suggest that it's the blood is the appeal and not just like haha I'm gonna kill you and drink your blood after. Like it doesn't matter. She didn't kill enough people to. Yeah. We've said that too many times. This is gonna get.
We already got the explicit tag. Who cares?
That's true. That's why. But yeah, I just. And I'm sure, again, I don't think Rick Riordan just made his version up. I'm sure there are others, but like, hey, here's the version from the Book of the Heavenly Cow, which is a pretty important text found in a bunch of pharaohs' tombs, including that of Tutankhamun. I don't know. It feels weird to select a version of events where the goddess in question is forced to change from being like this powerful warrior. Yeah, exactly. She is forced to suppress her anger and physically transformed into another entity to suit what Ra wants.
Yeah.
Whereas in this version of the text, Ra's like, Hathor, go do your thing. And she's like, fuck yeah. So she transforms into Sekhmet because that's the form she needs for the job. That we talked about in the last episode with constellations of Taweret being labeled as like Isis or Neith or stuff like that. And that is identified as these goddesses taking the form of Taweret to perform a protector role. Like that's a concept. And when she is satisfied, even though she was tricked, to be sure, it is still by her own choice that she is satisfied and transforms back into herself. Like her true version is Hathor. It is not Sekhmet.
Yeah.
And considering how much Hathor represented, getting this other version kind of is weird. But simultaneously, as we talked about, a lot of what Hathor was became Isis. So we have Isis doing all of these things. We are not going to then have Hathor doing them in our story. Which, fine, okay. Moving on. Now, speaking of the blood thing, the drinking the blood thing, DJ, that was also like the big, it feels like pretty big, not appealing, but like thematic element that ancient Egyptians were really like, hell yeah, double down. So, in 2006, Betsy Bryan, an archaeologist with Johns Hopkins University, presented her findings from excavating a temple of Mut in Luxor. These findings centered around the festival to Sekhmet, which was held during the first month of the year, just after the first flooding of the Nile. Basically, what she found is that the biggest component of this festival was that everyone got shit-faced.
Hell yeah.
Quote from Brian, "We are talking about a festival in which people come together in a community to get drunk. Not high, not socially fun, but drunk. Knee-walking, absolute passed-out drunk." Her findings include a wall painting that shows a drinking festival in progress, right? There are upper row of figures, they're the revelers drinking wine, including one woman who has very clearly overindulged. And then the bottom row shows a procession of musicians. Did you have got the relief?
Nice.
See if you can spot the lady who has overindulged.
Yeah, the lady vomiting.
Yep. She has partied too hard. The excavation, like the excavation turned up what has been called a porch of drunkenness, which was associated like with the it was Hatshepsut. This was like part of the temple. This porch that was created was done for her during her reign.
Mm-hmm.
It was erected at the height of her reign. So that's how we know she was like, I need a special place to celebrate this festival.
Outstanding.
And just real quick, side tangent. I read a lot of the information I'm getting regarding this festival and Brian's work at the excavation comes from an article from NBC News. And in this article, when they mention Hatshepsut, it says, quote, the wife and half-sister of Thutmose II. After the death of Thutmose II in 1479 BC, Hatshepsut ruled New Kingdom Egypt for about 20 years as a female pharaoh. And that's
a long time.
It is a long time. But what I would like to know is why writer Alan Boyle thought it was the right way to describe who Hatshepsut was by mentioning the guy she was married to.
That's how it goes.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
2006 sucked.
Yeah.
Like,
listen, early 2000s, not great. The aughts, not good.
Listen, we talked about this recently, haven't we? The odds,
Yes.
not good. The fact that not even the fucking of a literal pharaoh of Egypt is still going to be introduced by the man she was married to, who's not even as famous as she is.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that dude.
We've only talked about him in the context of Hatshepsut.
It's really funny.
Like, are you kidding me?
Thutmose II, most famously known for being married to Hatshepsut.
Exactly. When he beefed it, she took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to present that because it made me so
That's funny.
mad. And you know, I've mentioned several episodes ago how I was up really, really late, like researching like all these last 4 episodes. I think reading that
knocked you out of it. It's like, I gotta go to bed.
No. The opposite. The opposite.
Like, oh, you motherfucker.
It lit a fucking fire under me. And I'm like, if Alan Boyle thinks he will be forgotten, his sins have not been ignored. So anyway, now the drunk porch is going to come back later, but we're going to move past this. So back to some inscriptions that were found at the temple. Link the drunkenness festival with traveling through the marshes, which Brian claims was an ancient Egyptian euphemism for having sex. I cannot confirm or deny this.
Traveling the marshes.
Traveling through the marshes.
It's a crazy way to describe a bush, bro. Come on.
Okay. Thanks, DJ.
Yeah, no problem.
Now that makes sense. There you go. I was like, I don't know why. He figured it out.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the asexual couldn't figure it out.
Crazy.
The rules for the
Yes, it's damp and hairy, but like... Anyway.
Well, you're in a desert. Any bit of water is refreshing.
Yeah.
All right. The rules of the ritual even called for a select few to stay sober, serving as, quote, designated drivers for the drunkers, Brian said.
Yeah, just, we got to make sure that some people actually get home. And there's only a few people who can navigate when drunk.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep some guys sober to be able to navigate the cities and get them home.
Actually, these designated sober folks, they did have a job. It was to act as musicians, walking around and beating drums to wake up the revelers.
Last call.
This sounds...
It's the last call triangle.
It sounds awful. I cannot imagine getting shit-faced drunk and then being woken up
by a big fucking drum.
By a big drum. But Brian argued that the seemingly rude awakening was like actually the point of the festival. Quote, the ultimate intention of inebriation is to see and experience the deity. Meaning that like they were replicating Sekhmet's own experience. Mm-hmm. She gets rip-roaring drunk and then it's like, whoa, shit, okay, I'm up. We're not going to do that again.
Yeah.
This essentially, the Egyptians were asking the goddess to preserve the community from harm. Brian calls it a communal request, not an individual one. So we've talked about these festivals and stuff. This one, the reason her research is remarkable was because it discovered evidence for this festival at all. It fell out of favor. And not long after this, actually. Brian suspects that the festival drunkenness fell out of favor soon after Hatshepsut left the scene. She was the sixth pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, but by the time of Imhotep III, who was the ninth pharaoh, just a century later, all references to the rite had faded away. Brian wonders that if individual piety won out over this kind of like communal community drunkenness.
Sad.
If the vibe changed from and let's all get fucking
Hate to
trashed.
see that Egyptians went antisocial.
Instead of getting trashed and journeying through the marshes, everyone decided, well, we should just practice piety, and that'll, enforce Ma'at and get the gods to like us. So
People didn't like cleaning up the vomit.
Probably that. It probably sucked. Like it probably sucked.
Like the next 3 days were probably really rough.
Probably rough and just not productive.
Like, look, we're having a great time, but the cons are outweighing the pros here at this point.
Yeah. So while the way New Kingdom Egyptians engaged with this story changed, the tale's importance didn't wane. Again, the exact story of Hathor as Sekhmet drinking the blood is on all of those temple walls, and they came after this festival would have fallen out of favor. And in conclusion, Hathor was a very important goddess.
Yes.
Thank you.
Rick had a story he wanted to tell, and he was just like, all right, so I'm going to use these main gods, and we're just kind of, I know that some of these are probably more important than others, but I'm just going to kind of throw them in there just to be like, oh, hey, who's who of Egyptian mythology.
Exactly. This is my next point as like a wrap-up thought. I have the word habit here, and that feels kind of dismissive.
Yeah.
But the reality of Egyptian deities like taking over each other's roles and like becoming essentially the same deities over that long period of history like has to be considered when you're going to adapt these figures. So when you do this, like there is a question like, are you going to do Hathor or is it going to be Isis? Are you going to do Bastet or are you going to do Sekhmet? And like, how do we feel about how Rick Riordan handled this? It feels like a lot of the way he chose to
favor the Heliop, whatever the fuck.
Yep. We already struggled to say it too many. Exactly that one.
The Helio-Ennead. All right.
The Helio-Ennead, and also a lot of the Ptolemaic versions of these figures. We see those in Prime Relief, especially with the Plutarch story. We talk about clearly being the huge inspiration for his Isis and Osiris story, because that's literally the box and everything else like that comes from a Greek writer. And that would have come much, much later at this time when a lot of these blending and folding in, and we have our big 9 towards the end, right? And I have criticism for other things that will have me see like this was a capital C choice and I don't like it. I don't think this was a capital C choice. I think it's exactly what you said. Riordan had a story he wanted to tell. We want to include because the other thing is, and what we've found is that there are very few stories from ancient Egyptian mythology. We have a lot of ideas, right? We have this idea of Sekhmet as,
but there's like 4 stories.
Yeah, of like Hathor as the goddess of womanhood and female sexuality and music and dance and things like that. But like, we don't have any stories about
We don't have any stories about her being these.
Yeah, like, or doing that or celebrating dance. And there probably were, maybe, but they didn't survive. And we have, like, what's in the pyramid text and the funerary text and things like that. The distant goddess motif and things like that. So there are very, very few actual stories that Riordan could have been replicating. And Hathor and Sekhmet is one of them. And so when we, like I said earlier, we already have Isis. We are presenting a version of Isis who has subsumed basically everything Hathor was.
Yeah.
So how do we show this story? And I don't think he did it in a bad way. And I do like the salsa thing. I think it's funny.
Goofy.
I like the idea of the chief lector being able to summon the Sekhmet, like this patron of like the pharaohs would claim her as a military goddess. Like, yeah, that really is interesting, and it's exploring an idea.
But
there is some unexamined implications of what I said earlier, Ra being the one to transform Hathor instead of her doing these roles herself.
Yeah.
But by and large,
there's like one simple change of like the lector could be like summon Hathor to chase after them, and Hathor just turns into Sekhmet when she comes forth.
Yeah.
Like that'd be a simple change to get like the exact same thing, but keep the transformation within Hathor's abilities rather than
because she transforms into Hathor herself in the moment. Like Ra doesn't in the book.
No, I know, but like he still tells. Ra says, "Hey, Hathor, handle this," and Hathor's like, "Got it," and then transforms into Sekhmet.
Yeah,
the Divine Lector could do that same thing. It was like, "Hey, Hathor, handle this," and Hathor could be like, "Got it," and transforms into Sekhmet.
You're right,
there.
exactly that. And in that, or Carter, because Carter tells the story of how this happens. Instead of saying Ra transformed her, just say she transformed. But I would like, of her showing up as Hathor, being like, "Their enemies help. We must destroy them," and she's like, God, that would be so much more funnier. It's like she seems fucking a cow transforming into the lion, transforming back into the cow. That is funnier. And Rick Riordan will always pick the funnier option. So, DJ, you have said that there's no
Hathor Sekhmet.
No Hathor Sekhmet, which the Sekhmet one deeply surprises me. But you have Bastet, don't you?
We have Bastet.
So she's probably kind of doing what you would have a Sekhmet do.
Yeah, we have Bastet. We have on her. He's just another. I don't know much about on her. He's just another lion god.
Okay, but is he cool? How do I spell his name?
Anhur. He's neat. He's was a hunter, just a physical ranged guy now. On her, the lion-headed Egyptian god of war slays his enemies with spear and guile. Weapons equally as sharp as a son of Ra, on her and his sister Bastet rode in the golden barge their father sailed across the sky each day. They protected the ship at dawn and dusk from the world serpent Apophis, who lurked at the horizon. Courageous, formidable, and above all intelligent, on her defended the vessel with his spear, and wits outsmarting and distracting the serpent until feral Bastet delivered a killing blow. With Apophis gone, Ra became Pharaoh, Bastet the goddess of cats and women, and on her donned the mantle of god of war. This is how he became known as the slayer of enemies. As time went on, another feline goddess, Menhet, ran away from the pantheon, spurning Ra.
Hey, distant goddess myth.
On her vowed to bring her back from the distant lands of Nubia to appease his father. But when he finally caught up with Menhet, he was enraptured and fell in love. He tied a rope to her neck and led her home, where he requested Menhet to become his wife, a boon Ra happily granted. For Egyptians, warfare is more than bloody battle. It's a means to break the chains of tyranny. Honor can be found at the head of any charge, crushing corruption and leading people to freedom. While his spear is deadly, Honor is cunning and clever, able to outmaneuver opponents in ways they least expect. He's another relatively early god, so not quite tied into the lore of smites.
Yeah. Just I dragged this woman back and made her be my wife. Yeah. Dude, what the fuck?
I mean, she spurned Ra, I guess. I don't know.
A lot of the Eye of Ra goddesses do that. And then Thoth just shows up and like convinces them to come home.
Yeah, not this one.
What the fuck?
It was like, oh, this chick's hot.
That's
Marry me?
Crazy. He's got some good skin. There's Duke Dandelions.
Duke Dandelion's super fun.
He is slapping
I think it's Kukulkan. No, that's Fenrir.
Yeah,
Fenrir also has...
I couldn't remember Fenrir's name.
Yeah, Fenrir has another one of those. Kukulkan is in the background of that. You can see him.
He's a little snake, man. He's a dapper flying snake. Cool Cat is cute.
Yeah, Cool Cat's great.
He looks like he's from the Goof Troop TV series.
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you play on her?
Every now and again.
There's an Olympian where he is.
He's a javelin thrower.
He's a javelin thrower. Is he a fun one to play?
He's a good time. He's not my favorite, but he's not like I don't like avoid him. So
he's got a lot of skins.
Yeah, he's like one of the earlier ones, season 1 or 2 or something like that.
So there's been a lot of time.
He's had a lot of time. I think the Olympian might have been his first skin.
I wonder if a lot of gods got Olympic theme. Really?
They got like a lot of gods get like country themed ones. Mm-hmm. Most are America themed, as we've seen. Like I believe we saw Raw America.
Yeah.
But there's a new one for Thor called Thorge Washington.
It's very good.
And he has one of his abilities is he slams on the ground and like a little wall comes up.
Uh-huh.
And it's Mount Rushmore.
That's very
It's
funny.
so good.
That's very funny. Here's the thing. I think it works because it's a little bit like goofing on America.
Oh, no,
and
it's
that's
great. It's
so
much
fun. Just the
Poseidon
over-the-top.
has one where he's riding on top of like an F-16 fighter jet and throwing missiles. It's a blast.
I would imagine so.
His ult is he summons the Kraken, and when he's in that with that skin, it's a really buff dude with an eagle head coming up and just flexing really quick.
That's great.
Athena has like a French Revolution one.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really fun.
I have a couple in our like other roundups for Sekhmet and Hathor actually. So Hathor we mentioned is in Moon Knight.
Yep.
We also mentioned that she's very briefly in Moon Knight.
Very briefly.
Her
Very
avatar
quickly.
just introduces herself as like, I'm the avatar of Hathor, goddess of love and beauty. They do a meeting. They vote to...
Not at first, they vote to just not believe.
Yeah, they don't believe
Khonshu.
Khonshu when he's saying this guy is up to some shady shit. But clearly Hathor does think that there is shady shit afoot because she does tell...
Hathor has like an existing relationship with Khonshu as we demonstrate.
Yeah.
So she's not fully on board with the entire board's decision.
Yeah, and so she does tell Mark, hey, if here's the guy, because the gods don't, because we'll get to this in the bonus episode about Moon Knight, but the vibe is our big bad is looking for something that's hidden in a tomb. And the gods don't actually know where the tomb is at. It was too dangerous, but one priest did. And she's like, you should check his sarcophagus. And because if there's any clue as to where it was, it would have been in there.
It makes a star. Sorry, it makes a 5-point star. And it's so silly.
That was goofy. I was all for the folding it in a certain way to get the stars.
Great, but it's a 5-point star.
What do you mean it's a 5-point star? That was goofy. But that's her role. She seems nice.
Yeah.
I would have loved to get to know her more, but
I would love a season 2, but doubt it. And
not because it wouldn't deserve one. It's just because I don't know what the fuck Disney Marvel's doing anymore.
Jonathan Major fell through, and now they're just like, oh, I guess we got to go away from the whole...
Yeah, but like Moon Knight had nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
it could have just still... But also, Wonder Man is coming out. I didn't even know they were making a Wonder Man.
I don't even know who Wonder Man is.
He's like a superhero, obvi, like a Superman type, but he's famously a pacifist and an actor.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one looks
right over my head, dude.
I don't know. And I only know.
I knew who Moon Knight was loosely before he was even featured here.
For
okay,
sure.
But Wonder Man.
No, that's fair. And cards on the table. I only know who Wonder Man is because the McElroy family wrote a short comic book run for Marvel during War of the Realms, in which Wonder Man was one of the characters.
Outstanding.
And yeah. And then they turned around and did a pseudo sequel to that comic book run or they played the Marvel tabletop RPG for a handful of episodes of their podcast. It was incredible. Also in that comic book run, Miles Morales and Kate Bishop.
Nice.
Yeah. They have to babysit Thor's little sister.
Love it.
It was actually a really good, it's like 5 issues. It's actually really good. So not a lot of Hathor there. Hathor also appears in a movie called Gods of Egypt from 2016. Do you know anything about this? I don't know anything about this.
I think I saw it in like passing, but never actually saw it.
Yeah, it's got a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Gerald Butler played Set. But Chadwick Boseman played Thoth. So I think we should watch this movie.
Yeah, probably. That'd be
I think
fun.
we should watch this movie for a Remyth episode. Now, Sekhmet also appeared in the video game Castlevania Nocturne. I did not play it.
Nope.
But that sounds neat. And she was also one of the major characters in the comic book series Wicked and Divine.
Yep.
Which I've talked about before, but not for a long time. I definitely thought I would talk about Wicked and Divine way more on this podcast than I have. I think the last time I really talked about this comic was Dionysus.
It was mostly Greek gods. No?
No, that's the ones we've covered that I talked about. Dionysus and Persephone are the only Greek gods
that's crazy.
in the pantheon. There's Minerva.
No, that's Roman.
Specifically. Yep. And so if you don't recall, the premise of Wicked and Divine, the comic book series, is that every 100 years, 90 years or so, like a dozen gods are reborn as like young humans, teens to early 20s, and they are loved and they are revered and they are celebrated, and like in less than 10 years later they're all dead, right? And it's just the cycle over and over again. So the comic picks up at the beginning of a new cycle. But it's not always the same gods. It's usually different every time. So in the modern cycle that the comic is following, we have Sekhmet. And they're all kind of like pop stars in this one. Like, this is the way of their, like, how it would be understood. So they're like, not all pop stars. They're music icons, essentially.
Yeah.
And so she is Sekhmet. She is lioness. She's not physically a lioness, but right, like the warrior violence aspect is pretty front and center. Because at one point she kills everyone at an orgy.
Oh, yeah.
That she was involved in. She didn't just walk in.
Hate to see it.
Yep. And then later on, she also kills and eats her dad. But honestly, he had it coming.
I believe it.
So, you know what?
I believe it.
That one I'll give her a pass on. And those are the ones I got. I was delighted when I was looking up. I was like, oh yeah, I can talk about Wicked and Divine again.
Hell
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
And hey, speaking of fun things, good news, everybody. Season 3 of the Percy Jackson show is going to drop the end of this year.
Oh, good.
Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, yeah. Apparently at the end of the episode, the finale of season 2,
Oh, great.
there was a teaser for the next one.
Awesome.
And
Love to see it. Love to see that it's coming so soon.
Yeah. Well, they've already been filming it. So yeah,
I know they've been filming it, but sometimes it's like, oh, we've been filming it, and then it's like, it's still a year.
True, we're still waiting, but it has confirmed that it is going to drop this year. We don't know exactly when, but I would be shocked if it wasn't another December one.
It's definitely a December one, because like
the last 2 have been December ones. So that's going to be fun, and it's going to be the first time we're going to get like totally new material being adapted. Like we never got a Titan's Curse movie. So
yeah.
And if you want to hear us talk about the show, DJ, where can they do that?
Patreon.com/Muses of Mythology. We, as I've said before, we just got done with it's been a month now.
It's been a month.
But we have Musemas over there where we talk about Christmas Carol, and it's super fun.
Just 12 extra episodes in the month of December talking about a Christmas Carol.
But we also have a bunch of bonus episodes. As Darien said, we talk about the Percy Jackson, but we also do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. One of my favorite episodes we've ever done was doing the Camp Half-Blood and Camp Jupiter as regions in a Pokemon game.
That was great.
That
I had a blast.
I failed that one so hard.
Darien did not get the
I did not understand the assignment so hard that the next bonus episode was me doing that again, but doing it right. Yeah. And I feel like I did a very good. I
crushed it. I did a great job.
Actually,
I looked up multiple regions and tried to like match characters to gyms.
Oh, you did great. Yeah, that's why I had to do it again.
Levels and party amount too.
I did just remember that we actually have released those episodes on the main feed.
Oh yeah, those are great. Those are good episodes.
They were so good that I'm like, everyone should listen to this. We're covering Epic the Musical over for our Remyth episodes, our $10 tiers and Hop.
Camp Counselor.
Yeah, Camp Counselor, Podcast Hero. Camp Counselors are $5.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's $5 is a Camp Counselor, $10 is the Podcast Hero, 15 and higher. You're
God tier.
You're God. You're literally God tier. Their God tiers are shouted out at the end of the episode in the recording. But hey, thank you so much to Tim O'Connor, Crystal Conman, Nicholas Midler, and Jeffrey Babbitt. We'll thank you at the end. DJ will thank you at the end, but we just appreciate you so much. And I wanted to shout out, if you want to be part of this illustrious group, or you just want to hear us talk about the Percy Jackson show for $5 a month, plus literally 120 other bonus episodes, more than, because the Remyth episodes, or not the Remyth, the Muses episodes aren't numbered like everybody. Bunker 9 episodes. Yeah. Patreon.com/Muses of Mythology. It helps support the show. It helps us buy things when we need it.
Yep.
It helps us when we want to cover things, being able to buy that stuff. Hey, I mentioned the McElroys earlier. Griffin McElroy is releasing a Choose Your Own Adventure book. If we do an episode about that, would you like that? Would you like to hear us do a Choose Your Own Adventure thing?
Too bad. We're probably going to do it anyway.
And we'll use the Patreon money to do it.
Yep.
Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back in your ears next week on Tuesday, February the 3rd, to talk about Anubis, because it's my birthday week and I want to talk about Anubis.
Understandable.
So until next time, don't be like Zeus.
Don't be like Zeus.
Muses of Mythology is created and hosted by Darien and DJ Smartt. It's edited by Darien Smartt. The show is produced by Darien and DJ Smartt, as well as
Tim O'Connor, The Crystal Conman, Nicholas Miller, Jeffrey Babbitt,
Our music is Athens Festival by Martin Hain.
And our cover is by Ran Kapoka. You can find them on Instagram or through the link in our show notes. Want more Muses of Mythology? Support the show on Patreon. Join the Patreon for free for access to outtakes and bloopers from our main feed episodes. Or for $5 a month, you can enjoy our Bunker 9 bonus episodes every other week. Get more at patreon.com/Muses of Mythology.
You can also support the show by leaving a review at lovethepodcast.com/Muses of Mythology. Or tell a friend why you love the show.
Don't forget to check out all of our episodes and episode transcripts at musesofmythology.com.
Thanks for listening.